them together, and they've got the gift of crab.
Alrighty. Hello there again, Grabber Gang. We are here with someone who came very highly requested a lot of times.
You don't have to lie.
No.
No,
It's
literally. Everybody wants to hear you.
Yeah, we will lie later, but for now we're telling the truth. We have Will Giuliani,
Hello,
who's here
everyone.
with us all the way from the West Coast. So depending on when you listen to this, it may be delayed because of the time difference. So, so we stick with our normal format here, and just start firing off some questions and hearing what Will has to say and get to know a little bit more about him.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me. I don't think I've met either of you in person.
Nope.
Right? No.
Not yet.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah,
This will
be good.
This will have to do for now.
For now, but yeah, we'll have to make it out for one of the West Coast Armsports comps because they look like a lot of fun. So,
Are you coming to the Olympia, you two?
I am.
I am not.
Okay. Well, I might be there. To be determined.
Yes.
Well, you can probably drive there, right? Like, was it 5 hours, 6? I don't know.
I think 4.5 probably.
Oh,
I think it's doable, but like also San Diego is like the Southwest Airlines hub, so I'm sure I can
get something real cheap.
Quick little flight over there that's probably going to be cheaper than the gas money.
Yeah, gotta get away. Those those fares. Well, welcome, Will. We're very excited to talk to you. As Will said, you came highly requested. I think kind of every week we put something out there. It was just your name. So, I mean, getting right into it, my first question is like, what drove you to create West Coast Armsports? Like, what was your motivation behind it?
So, man, I never even. Okay, so why I started West Coast Armsports was because Jesus. I'm gonna have a hard time doing this without getting political, guys. I created West Coast Armsports because my dissatisfaction with the local grip product, I guess. I joined Arm Lifting USA back in like 2018, 2019. And at that time, arm lifting was very specific. Like there was a rule. You had to have 3 out of the 4 following implements in order to be considered an arm lifting event. You had to have an axle, Saxon, Rolling Thunder, or like a Little Bighorn or a hub or a Silver Bullet. If you didn't have 3 of those implements in your contest, it was not an arm lifting event. And on the Arm Lifting USA website, they used to have like leaderboards and rankings. So like you would lift your axle, Saxon, and Rolling Thunder, and they would give you a total, and that total was put onto the website. And then from the website, you could see, how you ranked up against everybody else and the people in your class. And I thought that was really cool. That's why I got into arm lifting in the first place, because I was marginally good at it and better at that than I was at strongman, which I was terrible strongman. So Ode was like, "Hey, you
nowhere to go but up."
Around the time that the pandemic happened, 2020, and the Arnold was happening then, and the Arnold got canceled. I was invited to the Arnold that year. I was really excited to go. It was going to be my first year competing at like an international high-level competition like that outside the LA Fit Expo. And it got canceled. So that was the first time I ever ran my own event. I ran the California Corona Classic the same day that the Arnold was supposed to happen. And I had about as much fun hosting and running that event as I did competing in it. I ran it at the training hall, and 15, 20 people showed up with 24 hours notice. It was incredible. It was a blast. I was like, I'm going to do this more often. So a year and a half later, when everybody started getting active again in, gym activities, when the gyms were open again and people felt comfortable, I started running some contests because Ode's promotion has slowed down. Like, he's now running maybe 2 or 3 contests a year. But I want to compete all the time. Like, I'm not a feat guy. I'm a competition guy. I'm in grip to compete. So I just saw that there was really not enough competitions happening in my area. And I felt that no one was going to do anything if it wasn't for me. Or no one was going to do it. If someone was going to do it, it wasn't going to happen if I didn't do it. I felt like.
Yeah.
So I did it, and it's happened. And since then, I've probably run, I can really quickly check on my website, previous contests, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 contests in the last 3 years.
Jeez.
So that's sort of the clip I want to be competing at, boom, 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 boom. Especially in the fall, when a lot of other sports are in their off season. Then I want to have a contest October, November, December, January. Anywho, so I've been doing West Coast Armsports. I've been doing dual sanctioned events most of the time, with Arm Lifting USA and Grip Sport International, and sending the results off to both leaderboards, because I think it's important to have almost a unification of the records when they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
There are some implements that live in both worlds. Like the Saxon lives in both arm lifting and grip sport. So in that case, if I'm running a contest with an implement in each event or each org, I'll dual sanction it, so people's efforts can be represented everywhere they're applicable. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing I did West Coast Armsports for. It was because I did want to do sort of a unification, because I witnessed the division between the two organizations and the divisiveness. And people are saying, oh, I don't do grip sport, I only do arm lifting. Or I don't do arm lifting, I only do grip sport people. I'm not giving them an option.
Yeah.
They're going to do both if they're doing a contest with me. Because they're both completely legitimate sports.
Yeah.
They're both completely legitimate organizations, and they both have, their own pros and cons. Like I said, from the beginning of Arm Lifting USA, having that total, having those 4 or 5 set implements that you knew what to expect going forward, it's not the same anymore. We're getting into a lot of other implements with arm lifting, so it's sort of bleeding into that grip sport world. So almost now the only differentiator is the lockout, which I think, I appreciate both styles, but I do wish we could, go back to where arm lifting was sort of like a powerlifting specialization, where there were 3 or 4 lifts that you specialized in, and then grip sport was the catch-all for everything else. I enjoyed those 2 styles and the distinct sports. But yeah, I am a rambler. Your question was, why did I start West Coast Armsports? And it's basically because I wanted more contests. I wanted more grip action down here in Southern California. And that's it. I wanted more.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the whole thing. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. So you saw.
I never said I'm doing it right.
Well, you saw either way, you saw an opening and you took it. And everybody who competes at your contests always says they have such a great time. And I mean, they look fun just from bird's eye view or perspective from here, all the way from New York. Every time I see something about it, it's always very fun, very inclusive. You celebrate all of your athletes, all of their wins. So, I mean, I'm interested just because of that, because you do include both, and you champion your athletes, and you make it fun. So
Yeah,
I dig it.
I think the athletes is really what makes it special, and it's the reason that I do it. If it was just, frankly, if it was just me and Ode, pulling on stuff together in a dark room, we wouldn't be doing it. As much as I love Ode, no, it's the growing of the sport. It's the growing of a community. It's the interactions between everybody. It's the support system. It's the mentors. It's everything. Because I've been doing this for 5 years. Some people might call me a veteran, but I get advice from Carl and Alexei Tukulov and Ode Haugen and people who have been doing this for decades and decades. So I'm giving advice to Steve Gaspar, who just got into the sport last year. So there's levels, and the community grows, and then Steve's gotten other people into the sport. So it's sort of like you try and chop off a head, you're getting two more. So one thing I've been doing lately to grow that community is I've been doing contests at local climbing gyms, because I said that 2024 is the year of the lightweight, the year of the climber, and the year of the woman. And I think just 2024 alone, we've added at least 6 people to our community here from those demographics.
Nice.
So these are people you can consistently rely on coming out to a contest. So yeah, I do it. I do it for the enjoyment of the lifters. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Have you considered kind of like a multi-level marketing type approach, where the more people you bring in, you get more points within West Coast Armsports? Yeah. Is that kind of the next phase?
Pyramid scheme.
And if you
like
get enough lifters at my next competition, I'm going to get you a pink Suburban.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's going to have glitter.
Like a
And
1997.
on the back, it's gonna say, grip truck or something, right? On the license plate, you get your own cute license plate.
Gripmobile.
Yeah, exactly. So multi-level marketing. The more people you bring in to grip, the lower I weigh you in at.
Sure. Yep.
And the higher your end results are. I put a foot on the scale. If you bring
extra half a kilo for every
in your final results.
Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, that's a win-win-win. Nobody loses.
I'm kidding. We practice utmost integrity here at West Coast Armsports, with all weights weighing what they say.
For the record. Yeah. Well, I guess to kind of tie into some of the organizational things with grip sport and stuff, like if you could choose one rule, either from like a certain federation or from, if there's something that's consistent among all of them, if you could choose one to take away, what would it be? And if you could choose one to add in that you think people are missing all around, what would that one be?
I haven't thought about that. A rule to take away.
Yeah, one rule.
And a rule to add in. Okay, a rule to add in would be no 24-hour weigh-ins. You gotta weigh what you weigh when you're lifting it, that's the weight class you're going into. I heard some instances in some competitions where people got to travel, and logistically it's tough to weigh in the same day that you're competing, especially when you're running an Arnold or an Olympia or a LA Fit Expo like that, and people are flying in from God knows where to compete. It's convenient to have 24-hour weigh-ins. Mm-hmm. But what can happen is, I hit 90 kilos on the scale the day before, and now I have 24 hours to eat pizza, In-N-Out steak, and mashed potatoes. In 24 hours, you can eat a lot. So at the time of lifting the implement on the platform, you could be well over on your way to the next weight class. So I think removing 24-hour weigh-ins on big contests like that is something that we should consider. Primarily because like if you are weighing in at 90 kilos and then you refeed and then hit a world record for your weight class, you should be the weight of that weight class, not 95, 96 kilos. Because then you're a 100-kilo lifter with a 90-kilo record. So that's one rule I would add in. One rule I would take away, tacky. We should use tacky on everything. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. Wow.
I don't take away. Rules you can take away. Come back to me on that. Let me think about that in the background while we cover some more questions.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to forget that I asked that later.
I couldn't even tell you what the rules are as we stand here today.
Well, no tacky is one.
Yeah.
So we've got that one. Yeah. Okay. We'll think of different ones.
All right. Going back to my comments about how you champion your athletes. Like if somebody hits a world record and you kind of celebrate it and you share it to your own page and, blow it up. And I love that about you because it's huge. And when Hafsa set like the 80 kilos on the Rolling Thunder recent, I'm just like, my mind is blown. And you not only shared it immediately, it was like to your own page. She has privacy settings and stuff like that. And I was just like, this is amazing. This should be just broadcasted everywhere. This is an incredible lift for anybody, any size. And she did it and she made it look easy. So sky's the limit for her. But
yeah, incredible. Her story is during the pandemic. Well, let me talk about Hafsa real quick. I met her up at Untamed Strength during a grip competition. And, her background is strong man, strong woman, and during the pandemic she wanted to build a home gym, and because barbells are expensive, she bought the cheaper option, which was an axle.
Nice.
So she did all of her barbell work with an axle, and come to find out that really builds your grip strength. So her thick bar is just out of control. It's out of control, and at 84 kilos, hitting 80 kilos on the Rolling Thunder. I couldn't do that. I just started hitting 80 kilos on the Rolling Thunder like 2 years ago. Get out of town.
Yeah.
It's insane. And like, I've chatted with her a bit and it's like mind blowing and she's just very humble and sweet. But anyway, my question was like, you really are a great cheerleader and champion for excellence with all of your athletes. So like where does that come from? Let's dive deep a little bit. Were you ignored as a child? Were you like you just want to be that for everybody else?
I think I have a lot of energy to give. And I've sort of transitioned since being a promoter, I've transitioned to giving myself that energy to spreading that energy on other people. I've noticed myself that in the last few years, I'm not as explosive on the platform. You're not going to hear me screaming and yelling and huffing and puffing before a lift like I used to.
Yeah.
I've been saving that energy, I guess, subconsciously for the people that I want to see, which are my competitors. But back to childhood trauma, I think we can have a whole nother podcast on that. But I do know that I hate being excluded. I think that's like a childhood trauma trigger for me when I'm like excluded from a group because, believe it or not, I was a weird kid and not everybody got me right away.
Yep, get that. We do have another podcast called Get a Grip where we just talk about like different things that we have, emotional traumas, and we just say get over it. Basically, it's like come on, get a grip, come on. Yeah, so we'll invite you on that one next.
Great.
So that's a heavy question, and I am not good with heavy, so I'm just gonna ask how many times have you changed your hair? Because I feel like in the short amount of time that I've followed you on social media, I've seen at least 3. different
Well,
styles?
I am a man of many faces, depending on how I'm groomed in the moment.
All right.
Yeah, I'll say that. And this is something that I actually came to the realization after some deep thought a few weeks ago, because every time I go to a barber or a salon or whomever, I have the hardest time conveying what I want. And the barber or either the salon, what's the female barber?
Stylist,
Hairdresser?
hairdresser.
There you go, hairstylist, yeah. I think they have a hard time understanding me or believing me, if you will, because I do, like, I'll come in with a lot of like long hair and I'm like, cut it all off. And they're like, you mean like a number 6? And I'm like, and then
No.
I start getting self-conscious. I'm like, do I not know what I want? Do I actually want a number 6? And then I end up with like a haircut I didn't want. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But so this specifically, I went in and I guess I miscommunicated with them, and halfway through the haircut, I said, you know what, let's just start over.
Let's just buzz it.
Buzz the whole thing. But yeah, so I do have many hairs. You can count them.
Yes.
But they are receding. So I don't know what to do going forward. I'm not going to Turkey. Hats are an option.
I bring a picture in with me, and it's Chris Evans as Captain America in the second Captain America, not the first one. It used to be the first one, and it was a lot longer and like swoopier and stuff. And then I bring in that one now. I'm like, this is what I want. And they said, okay,
that's good. It's just basic white man,
hair.
Good.
I'm like, hey, if you could,
don't do too much. Like
I tried when we lived in Washington.
Caucasian. Give me the Caucasian.
Yeah, if you were to see a generic Caucasian man in a video game, what would he look like? That's this guy.
Yeah, I've received the doppelganger Chris Evans, but not for a long time. Recently, I've gotten 2 Travis Kelce's.
Oh,
and that's not a difficult haircut. It's basically
short. Just get a stash. You'll be fine.
I went to a barber when we lived out in Washington State. Like, I went to a barber out there, and I was like, hey, I want it kind of like shorter on the side. This was before I started the picture thing. It was one of the formative moments in my hair journey, and so they I said I want it like shorter on the sides and like a little bit longer on top, kind of thing. And Macklemore was really big then, and so that's what I got. I got the Macklemore.
You got your haircut at the thrift shop.
Yep, exactly.
Well, he looked like Skeeter from Doug.
Is Skeeter green or is he blue?
I think he's green.
He's green. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah. Skeeter is the one. That was Skeeter, right?
Yeah, but he looked like Macklemore.
Okay.
I don't know. Do a comparison and then.
Yes, it was like a greenish yellow.
That was his friend. That was let's see. Pork Chop was the dog. Skeeter. Wait, no.
Patty Mayonnaise. Patty Mayonnaise was like orange.
Skeeter was like a teal.
Yeah, Skeeter was teal. The bully was the guy that had the he had the yellow skin. Roger, that's it. Yeah,
Roger, also sort of teal. 1 second, that's my dog's food alarm going off.
Oh dang!
So I'll be right back.
Definitely leaving this in.
Maybe I'm getting it wrong then. Maybe it was Roger who looks like Macklemore.
I think Roger's here.
Skeeter just had like black lines drawn.
Okay, you're right.
Roger
it is Roger, the bully. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
My bad, okay. 90s kids.
Okay, I'm back. I'm not going to feed my dog. I'm going to let Medi, my partner, feed my dog.
Yep. That seems like the right thing to do. Yeah. All right.
Yes.
We're back online.
We're going to leave that whole section in.
All right. What is in the water in California? Are we going to have a nice East Coast, West Coast, 90s hip hop like battle happening? Are you guys just taking over? Like,
You want to know something really interesting is that it's not California. It's LA County. It's LA County. Every single ranked grip athlete in California is in LA County. So it's not, oh, California's so big. No, just LA County.
So it could very well be something in the water.
It's probably in the LA River.
Yeah.
No, but that's a good question. A couple of the ranked athletes in California aren't from California. For instance, Ode Haugen's from Norway. Carl's from England. Both Travis Wynand and William Reed are from Pennsylvania. And if you put those boys in Pennsylvania, that I think everybody from Pennsylvania has a strong grip. They got to hold on to all those pencils. I'm sorry.
No, that was fantastic.
We like that.
Flipped out.
Yeah, that was good.
No, I myself, I am from California. I can't speak for everybody on the list, but I know that we're not all native. So we take everybody's best and then we incubate them and make them better. So if you are good or great or bad at grip, come to California, and then you'll drink the water and you'll become Carl Myerscough.
Oh, is that all it takes?
Yeah.
Nice.
Believe it or not.
Man.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. That's
It's
good.
so easy.
That
Can I get baptized in the LA River?
Yes.
I don't know if you want that.
as
A grip.
Carl will palm your head and then submerge you into the river.
He's going to crush it like a coconut. All right.
Yeah, you got to be real careful. He hasn't crushed the coconut yet. Carl, if you're listening,
He
we're
is
waiting.
injured. He's injured. And I messaged him like, hey, bud, like, where's that? Because he did a pineapple.
Yeah.
But he's injured. And I said, he can take as much
I
time
know he had a
as
wrist
possible.
thing, but his other hand was good, right?
I don't know. I was giving him a pass because what happened at the Shaw, and I never want to bug him too much because he's like a god in this sport. So I'm just like, I don't know if I'm annoying. So I'm just gonna watch and learn from
I
the
always
far.
assume I am annoying, and I just keep going with it because I'm like, you know what? At this point,
assuming we're annoying is probably the right thing to do. But
seems right.
Carl is very sweet. He seems to have time to answer questions, and at least from me, and like during a competition, he as long as he's not amping up for a big lift, he's approachable. You can ask him for tips and tricks and everything.
So I posted something leading up to like Series 2 or whatever for the Super Series, saying like, I don't have a Raptor, like I've got my RGT or whatever, and we'll see how this carries over, kind of thing. And he commented on it. He said, hey, I just take my RGT number and multiply it by 1.24, and that's pretty close. And that's exactly what I ended up pulling at the Super Series. I was like 130 times 1.24, and I was 161. And I'm like, I messaged him after. I was like, "How did you get there?" Like, what? He's like, "I don't know. Just what I took my numbers."
I think he really pays attention because he had a similar formula for the blue fat grips to axle.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Oh, take your axle and multiply it by point blah blah blue." And I was like, he's like, "What's your max axle?" And I was like, boop, 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 160. And he's like, oh, you'll pull this today. Right on the nose.
Yeah. It's crazy.
On the nose.
He's like a grip Rain Man, but like
he is
much, much bigger than Dennis Hoffman.
Yeah. But, well, yeah. Slightly bigger, So in talking about nice grip people and helpful grip people,
where?
I mean, just in general, they exist.
Oh, okay.
They're out there watching. And so if if you're at a competition,
Mm-hmm.
all of the grip world is there. People
Okay.
you like, people you don't,
Uh-huh.
whoever. If you could like get the drop on somebody with a handshake where you get in there firm, solid, and they end up with like some kind of like dead fish type deal, but you're like, you can be like, I've got that on them. Who would it be? Who would you want to get the drop on a handshake?
Zach Mullins, I think.
Oh, that's a good answer. Yeah.
Zach, and sorry if you got beef. I know he's another podcast, but I'm going to bring him up.
We have no beef. We're
It's just because we're approximately the same like size, I think. But I think his hands would just dominate mine. I think I think he's got pretty long. I mean, the way he plays with those blobs and inches, I can only imagine. So I think him. I think him because he's a good level to beat. And I think if I could beat him in a handshake drop, I think I'd respect myself a little bit more.
sure.
I had a Mike Pence moment. Did you see the fly?
I did. I saw the fly. Yeah. I was going to say Mr. Vice President, but it's fine.
It's fine. Who would be on your zombie apocalypse survival team? Grip athletes only.
Okay, I'm glad you asked. My team consists of William Reed.
The harpoon gun and stuff.
Exactly. So
Yeah, for sure.
I've even told Maddie, my partner, this. I was like, if anything, well, this is while we were living in LA. I was like, if anything goes down, we're hopping in the truck, we're driving to wherever William Reed is, and we're picking up him and his wife and all of his spearfishing stuff, and then we're just gonna find a place and live out our days eating fish.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, I think if we needed some muscle, I think AJ Rakatare would do. He's Carl-sized individual.
I don't think I know him.
Probably move a little. Are you unfamiliar with AJ?
Yeah, I don't know AJ.
He's a strong man, and I recruited him into doing some grip stuff. He does some training hall things. And at his first contest, it was a King Kong. And I believe he set the world record on the 2.5 pressure. Just first time touching it.
Sure.
Yeah. I believe if AJ wanted to, he could break the axle world record. So
what? How much? What class is he in? Is he 125?
Extra large.
Okay.
Extra large class. This is super big class.
The big boys.
If there was a class above the class that we have now, he would be in that one. Like if there was a 150 plus class, he'd be there.
No, right.
Damn.
So he would be the muscle. Let's see. I think Steve Gaspar would be good because I think he could balance our nutrition. As a nutritionist, he'd be able to be like, hey guys, maybe that's a lot of mercury in that fish.
Yeah.
And
Let's
then
have some papaya.
right, and then Travis Wynand, he's a really good musician, so like we could have some entertainment. And this is all the West Coast folks. Yeah,
Well, it's a zombie apocalypse. You don't want people to have to travel too far.
Yeah, and there's a couple of families that grip down here. So for repopulation purposes, they're already set in family units, which is great. But we're all viewing this as through the lenses of I'm a survivor.
Sure.
If I was a zombie, I would just go for Ode because he's got a lot of meat and he's quite slow these days.
So in terms of zombie survival, you being the zombie needing to survive. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd assume I don't do cardio, so I'd assume I'd be pretty out of luck. You can only axle deadlift your way out of so many situations.
That's the truth. But you can always catch Ode, who I can almost guarantee you doesn't listen to this, so it's fine if
we're fine.
If you answer that. Yeah. Yep. All right. So you said all right. So Steve Well, yeah. Okay. Now we've changed. Now you're a zombie.
Yeah,
Who cares about the other people?
I can
You're
find
going to
a
eat those.
purpose for anybody out here. They're all very talented people, and I'm sure they're just as delicious as they are now.
As they are handy to have around.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. All right. This is not really a grip question, but it's just a
Skip.
random. Okay.
No,
I got one more after that, and it's
go ahead,
even worse
go ahead.
than that one. So
Go ahead.
if you could go back in time and like just pick a person, either a famous person or just a random nobody on the street, and mess with them, like when would you go back to? What would you tell them to mess with them? And why? And why? Why that?
Maybe go back in time and mess with myself. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll assume no paradox there. What would you tell yourself?
I don't know. I think that's a bad idea.
It probably is, yeah. But
Well, I could be.
you should be.
I could. It's like I could get into the minds of the 9/11 hijackers and like convince them that planes are scary. I don't know. Like I'm trying to be a good guy here, because Hitler's overplayed. Messing with Hitler's overplayed.
Yeah. You just want to. I mean, it can be a little goof, or it can be something that changes the course of history. You know?
Yeah, I'll put the 9/11 hijackers bags on a different plane. So.
There it is. Yeah. Go work in baggage. August of 2020.
That's a tough question, and one I'll think about for weeks to come as I'm trying to go to sleep.
Good.
And
that was the
many better answers than the ones that I provided you today. And you might get a DM on Instagram and be like, "Hey, actually, I want to change my answer."
And then we'll do the Kermit voiceover that we discussed before the episode. So.
When are you going to try Highland Games? I saw you trying it. Carl gave you some tips. You had a rock. I mean, if you guys both sign up for the same contest, I'm flying out and I'm throwing with you.
I'd love to see Carl do that. The problem is the last Highland Games event of the season out here is Seaside up in Ventura, and that is the same weekend as the Olympia.
Oh.
So I had told myself I wasn't going to go to the Olympia this year if I didn't place in the top 5 of the Super Series. I placed top 6 by like 0.4 points away.
Pretty solid.
I would have done better. I feel like Ode stole a lift from me. I'm not mad. He's given me lifts before, so it all sort of works out in the end. But I like on the hilt, he told me that my hand position started too low, which I know it didn't because I set up staring at my hand.
Like he said, like your finger was under or something?
Yeah, I'll show you one second.
Visual aids.
Interactive episode.
And I set up like very close to the line. I'll admit I set up as far down as I can. But
for the listeners, he's setting up as far down the hilt as he can.
Yeah. Can you not hear me?
No, we can hear you.
I'm not below it, but like from the judge's perspective, it looks like I
might be. Yeah.
Like I'm not on the other side at all. But from down, I can see where the confusion. So I got 105 up, and he was like, "No, you're too high." That's true, Ode, but my hand isn't. So I would have had another 5 kilos on that event, and that would have kept me in 5th. But anyway, I told myself I wasn't going to go to the Olympia unless I got 5th. But I might go anyway.
You could have had it, and yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking, like, I personally, I don't think that the Olympia and the Arnold grip competitions are worth traveling to just in and of themselves, as the new competition format is 2 lifts and then 1 little medley. That's not even a medley. I call them 2.1 event competitions. And I just can't justify the airfare and the hotel and the time off and the time away from home for 2.1 events.
Yeah.
When I run a competition here that's 4, 5, 6 events. And I understand that, there's more people and it's, but you also have a couple of days to run these contests. You could provide to people who are paying for these contests a little bit more contest for their dollar, in my opinion. But to justify that, me going maybe, I was thinking about also signing up for the... Oh, my television just turned on in the background for some reason.
I thought it was another dog.
So did I.
So to justify coming out to the Olympia, I am thinking about also signing up for the Moss Wrestling Championship and the Strict Curl Championship. So my weekend would look like this. 9 a.m. Moss tournament on Friday, followed by 11 a.m. Strict Curl. And I would have to go back and forth between those events, as it's tournament style for Moss, and then in Strict Curl you would go in flights. And it's actually Strict Curl and Cheat Curl. So that's like 6 really heavy curls. And then Moss, which is like getting hit by a truck every time you're touching the stick. And then on Saturday, I would do grip and Moss finals if I make it, which I shouldn't, but if I do, that'd be something. So if I'm still walking on Saturday,
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a lot.
and doing all this extra shit gives me a really great excuse for not doing well at grip. If it happens, If it doesn't and I do great. If I do poorly, then I'm like, guys, I'm so tired.
I just curled like 1,000 pounds.
I did all of this before.
My first experience.
What are you doing Highland?
Yeah, what are you doing, Highland? Roundabout.
So I would really love to do Highland Games. I think that I enjoy throwing. I think if I had a high enough GPA in high school, I would have tried to do like javelin or something. Like, I think throwing is really cool. I think, being a Scottish person, although my name is Guiliani, I was adopted. My birth name is Andrews. So we're from the Ross clan, a very Scottish family. So it just makes sense. I want to throw a freaking telephone pole. That sounds fun. So
it is
and
the best
kilts,
event.
So I think it's a 2025 goal is to do a Highland Games contest. And Haley, I will try and convince Carl to do one as well. And
I got some girls in Southern California that I've thrown with, that I've made good friends with. So I would, any excuse to head out your way, I would absolutely.
Are you familiar with Jarvina Rout?
Yeah, she's one of my girls. She is a great grip athlete too when she's not injured. So
yeah, she came out for one of my contests last year. I think it was California's Strongest Hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did really well. She pulled, I have it in front of me here. She pulled like 60 kilos on the Rolling Thunder and 115 on the axle.
Mm-hmm.
So she did really well.
Dang.
I think she, and a 1.5 for 30 seconds on the gripper, which was nuts.
Yeah. No, I mean, she's got like big hands and she's super strong.
Her hands are bigger than mine.
Yeah, she's incredible. She's just a well-rounded athlete and a really good person. So when she wanted to do it, I was so excited because like I had just got into grip myself. Mm-hmm. And then she did it, and then was up on the leaderboards for Axel like almost immediately. I think it was like Apollon's Axel, and she just
Yeah.
crushed it. And then,
Yeah,
of
I
course,
can't wait
getting
for her
injured
to
and
be well again and getting back into grip and Highland Games and all that, because I follow her on Instagram, and she's always got really fun content of her and the Highland Games stuff. It's cool to see.
Will, you're
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Well, you brought up your last name, so I was going to ask a question about that, and we'll see how it goes. The Italian last name there. So, as everybody knows, in Italian, when you're going to pluralize something, it gets an I at the end. You know, like kind of
Right.
we've bastardized panino to now be. I'd like to say I'd like a panini. It's not a panini.
Right. I've bought this myself with a single ravioli. It's actually a raviolo.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
A multiple lasagna is lasagne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so your last name being Guiliani. Are you multiple, or is this another panini situation?
Yeah. So I think when there are four families, it's understood to be plural because there are multiple people with that name.
Okay.
My name actually does have a funny little backstory to it. However, I think we're all familiar with the former disgraced mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani, America's mayor.
Yeah, my uncle.
He and I share a last name, obviously. Giuliani's only come from one small part of Italy. It's like this northern mountain town up in Friuli Venezia Giulia, or one of those Emilia Romagna places, up in the Swiss Alps. And my parents, my dad, Richard Giuliani, he went home, to his ancestral homeland to go check out the area. And the graveyard is just full of Giulianis. But we spell our name wrong.
Yeah, UI
You and
instead
the
of
I
IU.
should be swapped around. And we swapped it. Normally, it's like Ellis Island screwing up people's names or whatever port city immigrants land in. But we did this to ourselves. A couple of generations ago, there was two Mary Giulianis. They were cousins, and they lived across from each other. And they hated each other's guts. And they had to see each other every day because invariably the postman would give one Mary Giuliani one letter and the other Mary Giuliani the other letter, but they were supposed to go to the other Mary Giuliani. And they hated each other. Didn't want to deal with this male situation. So the Mary Giuliani on my side of the family decided to go down to the courthouse and swap the U and the I, assuming the mail carrier would not confuse them any longer. That didn't happen. And now I just have a stupid name. Every time I go to Italy and like someone reads my name, like I give my credit card to a waiter or something, I hear it. They're like, "Your name is spelled wrong. And this is Guiliani. You're no Giuliani. You're Guiliani." I was like, "No, I'm not Guiliani." They're like, "Guiliani, Gui."
Yeah, I noticed that when you and Alex did the Guioff, I was like, wait a minute, it is GUI, isn't it?
Yeah, it's wrong.
Yep,
it's wrong. But
now we know.
It's my name, and if it wasn't, I'd change it. I thought if I was going to change my name, it would like Willie Armstrong.
Oh
cool,
man,
right? Is that taken?
No, that'd be a great name for strict curl, grip sport, moss wrestling. Willie Armstrong. I think
Willie
you should
Armstrong
consider
is
it.
a guy already, I guess.
Well, so is William Thompson, but I mean,
okay. Well,
yeah.
Basic haircut, basic name.
That's it.
Basic guy.
It's like you know Emmett from the Lego Movie.
Mm-mm.
What?
I don't have children.
Okay,
but it's still a beloved.
It's the Lego. Anyway,
it's still funny.
It's fine. He's a generic fellow.
This may be the most controversial thing I've said today. Is I didn't fuck with Legos as a kid.
I didn't either. I played with them.
not on purpose. But I didn't get it. I was like, oh, there's just this big bag of blocks that I don't know what to do with. It turns out there's instructions and like Lego sets and like specific things to build with the Legos. I never knew that. I thought it was just a bag of blocks. I'm like, oh, I can put a block on a block. I was more like my brother and
Billy
I played
Castle.
with erector sets, though. Are you guys familiar with erector sets?
Hell yeah.
Familiar,
Yeah, we
yeah.
played with those. Well, I didn't get to play with it. My brother got to play with it, and I had to organize all the pieces, and then he would ask for a piece, and I would hand him the piece.
And you got to say, wow, bro, that's really a cool thing you're making.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess we're opening up the childhood trauma door again.
Yeah, well, I don't know that we really closed it. It's been open a little bit. Now it's just peeking back out again, so it's fine. So, yeah. I think that was all the, like, normal-ish questions. Are we ready for the... Do you have any more, Haley? Or that
I
you
have
wanna ask, or-
one more. Like, what's an unusual skill or talent that you have that our listeners would be surprised to know about you? Like, what's not on your feed? What don't you talk about? What have you
People
done
don't
in
know
the
that I
past?
have pretty good grip strength.
An expert erector.
No, I
Sport.
am fairly musical. Like, I grew up doing music my entire life. Like, that was the only thing that got me through school was music, because I was not a student. I did not do homework. I did not believe in homework, so I failed every academic course. But I loaded my schedule up with so many music courses that I was able to graduate by the skin of my teeth. So like it was just music, singing, brass instruments, anything I could teach myself. Whistling. I consider myself currently on my way to whistling virtuoso.
Wow.
It's a habit I picked up on road trips with my family. And my dad, I still remember to this day, he said, you know, Willie, my dad calls me Willie. I was named after Willie Mays and William Shakespeare. He said, you know what, Willie? For as much as you whistle, you'd think you'd be better at it. So I spent, a lot of time thinking about that and trying to get better at whistling and show you, Dad.
Willie Armstrong's a whistler.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, no, you sent me a very moving rendition of the Jeffersons theme the other day. So
I did, and then you sent back like a harmony. So I was hoping that the three of us could sing live in harmony right now.
Oh man,
What song?
let's do it.
No. I need prep time, guys.
Yeah, okay, we'll coordinate and get back to you guys on that.
Yeah, it's a.
I guess I don't even know the Jeffersons song, I don't think.
Moving on up.
Moving on up.
Yeah, that's all I know. To the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then wah. It's gone.
That's all you need.
Yep.
It's gone after that. To a
So yeah, that's
deluxe
something that people
apartment.
might not know about. I guess I don't know. I feel like I don't know that my personality really comes across on my Instagram. Just because like I just pick stuff up and put stuff down like the rest of people.
Mhm.
I don't do a lot of like talking to the camera or anything like that. Maybe that's something I should mix in.
You got to break the fourth wall every once in a while.
Yeah,
You know?
that's true.
Just you pick the thing up, you put it down, and you say, I bet you're wondering how I got here. And then do one of those. And
But you
that'd
can't do that.
be great.
All right.
Yeah.
Are we ready for Fire at Will?
I think we are.
Wait, which one?
It's going to be you this time.
It's going to be you.
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
is, we started it with Quay. We call it Quay Pigeons, and he handled it like a champ. And pretty much just answer as fast as you can. There's no wrong answers. Just whatever comes first. Just boom, boom. Okay? That's how we're going to do it.
A mix of grip and very much
And
not
random,
grip, so,
and very
yeah.
random. All right,
Okay.
we're gonna go.
And
Crocs.
when you're just when you're ready for the next one, say pull, and then that's how we
That's how we know where to
that's how
go.
we do it. All
All
right, sorry.
right.
So fire at will.
All right.
Pull.
Crocs or slides?
Crocs.
Hilt or Little Bighorn?
No, Little Bighorn.
All right. Pull.
Pull. Sorry.
Okay. Snoop or Dre?
Like Dr. Dre or Snoop Dogg.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Snoop Dogg. I think Snoop Dogg. I'll take
right.
Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
Good deal.
Pull.
Was OJ innocent?
Of what? Pull.
There's the rules.
Should Carl have a nickname?
Who?
Carl. Myers-Carl.
He does have a nickname.
What is it? Is it Big Milk?
Besides Blackpool Tower.
He's the Blackpool Tower. If you saw his Instagram story today, actually, he stood in front of it. He's in his hometown right now. There's a physical building. It's the tallest building in Blackpool, and he was named after it.
Okay. Okay, go.
Pull.
What planet would you name a grip implement after?
Well, it's funny you should ask, because most of the planets are already taken. Here are the Jokebug series of planets. This is the Saturn. Here's the Pluto. Here is the Jupiter. Here is Mars. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, Uranus.
There it is.
So if you're curious about these implements or want to give a tug on either of them, come out to California, and I'll set you up with a Jokebug Planet series. Or you can go, and I think Ben Helms has the only other complete set of planets as they currently stand. So,
Wow.
I think he's closer.
Earth,
All right.
pull.
The biggest grip douchebag.
I'm not going to give an answer to that.
All right, good.
All right.
I have.
I'm sure you have an answer. Yeah.
I just thought I'd catch you.
I'm gonna do the Kermit over it and give your answer for you.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll mouth it right now, and then you can add that in.
Perfect.
I don't know what I said. Do you know?
Yeah.
I don't read lips.
Yeah. All right.
Pull.
Blonde Brittany or bald Brittany?
Pre-2008 Britney.
Okay. Just regardless of hair.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she never was bald before then, but like anything before then was Britney. This woman that is Britney Spears now. I don't believe is Britney Spears. My partner Mehdi is a huge Britney Spears fan, and he believes that the current iteration of Britney is a completely different human being. Not like physically a different person, but like their brain is no longer the person that the other person's brain was.
I could see
Pull.
it.
Jorts or Hoochie Daddy shorts?
I'm split. I think
So shorts.
I'll wear a pair of jorts and I'll wear a pair of Hoochie Daddy shorts. But I feel like I need a little bit longer than 5 inches on the inseam.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
Pull.
Did you hear about Pluto?
The planet?
Yeah. Well, not anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, yeah. What about it, Will?
Just that it's not a planet anymore.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, was that on?
I just want to make sure you're up to date on current events
I think
from 7 years ago. 8 years ago.
I think that it's still, I was educated that it is a planet. I believe that it still should be a planet. That's just me.
It's a bold stance. Probably something we'll have to edit out later, but okay.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I got to retrieve this ball from my dog. 1 second. It's behind me. Here you go, girl. Go get it. And I'm back.
All right. OC or the Hills?
OC. California. California. Here we come. Definitely.
Beautiful.
Paul.
That was all I had. Do you have more, Haley?
Yeah,
You have
one more.
More
In and out.
pigeons?
In and out. Carl's Jr. or Jack in the Box.
In and out. Only because, like, for me, In and Out is like a novelty choice. Like, I will go to like McDonald's or Jack in the Box or Wendy's or what have you, Carl's Jr. as a utility. Like, oh, I'm hungry, I need to eat. But I use In and Out as like sort of like a treat yourself version of fast food. It's like, it's a little better, a little tastier, I think. A little more consistent in its delivery, because you never know who's working the burger stations at those Carl's Jr. Sometimes, like, you got the buns here, and then the patties like all the way, like kind of like that, and then you have a pickle on the top of the bun. But at In and Out, you know what you're getting every time, and it's a freaking delicious burger.
So we've got Hardee's over here, not Carl's Jr.
I don't.
And
was there a divorce? Like, did someone
his name is Carl Hardy.
What?
I'm just kidding. No, I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, no. But yeah, and it's I don't know about over there, but it's the slowest restaurant, the slowest fast food place you could possibly choose is Hardee's. No matter where I go over here, if I ever go to Hardee's, I know that I need to build in an extra 10 to 15 minutes to sit there and wait.
Jeez.
So it's not usually worth it.
Well, you know what I do? I go to McDonald's, right? And I get myself a double quarter pounder with cheese. And if you're in the drive-thru and you order the double quarter pounder with cheese, by the time you get around to pay, they're not done making your burger yet. They're like, oh, can you pull ahead to the stall number 1 and we'll bring it out to you when it's done.
You just go directly to the stall, huh?
And you know why that is? It's because those the patties never frozen. They're fresh. Fresh, never frozen patties. So they're actually cooking the burger there as you wait, which is it says something for McDonald's.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I wish they wouldn't make you freaking pull up to another stall. I don't care about the folks behind me. They can wait.
Aren't they getting the same thing I'm getting?
Yeah.
Can't they just hang out for a minute?
Everybody's got to wait for their double cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
It's just life.
Then I got to sit there anxiously and watch and say, is that my bag? Are they taking my bag to somebody else's car because they didn't remember what I was driving? Like, did they make a note of that?
Like, I just think about the fast food worker who has to grab the bag, walk around the counter, leave the store, and walk out to the parking lot. That can't be efficient. That can't.
No.
That can't be the way.
It's not the way God intended.
I don't know.
It's a good, yeah.
Has anybody turned the tables on you guys and asked questions?
I think Pencho asked some questions last time.
Okay, I'm not
maybe.
Pat's did. It was like,
Yeah,
I don't know, one question, but no, not really. No one does. But we've had two where we've just kind of asked each other stuff and played around.
Can I use this time to plug my next event? Well, not my next event, but my feature event, upcoming feature event.
Well, sure.
Every year there's the LA Fit Expo, and it's big exposition out here on the West Coast, just like the Olympia or the Arnold. Every fitness person you can imagine is gonna show up. And prior to like 2020, 2019, the LA Fit Expo was one of the premier grip events of the year. It would have pro strongmen coming out. Mark Felix would lift, like a lot of big names.
Yeah.
And it used to be the premier grip event. And it's always run by Ode. The LA Fit Expo is the under the All-American Ode Haugen's All-American Strength Classic. And in that Strength Classic, he would run 3 events. He would run arm lifting, he would run strongman, and he would run a Moss. Now, the strongman, you could qualify. You used to be able to get your pro card at that event. That's what would bring out a lot of really big people. I could be wrong about this, but I don't think that they are direct to pro card right now. But Oudhaugen handed me the arm lifting portion of the Oudhaugen Strength Classic. So I'm running
Nice.
and promoting that. And my intent is to make this as big and as consequential a grip contest as you could have. I spent a couple of months ago. I went through every leaderboard and I invited as many of the tippity top people from around the world, from dozens of different countries. And I've already gotten a significant amount of interest from a lot of top level competitors you don't normally see in the US or on big stages. So I've already talked to Martins. He's interested. Carl,
Nice.
he's interested. Alexei Tukalov, he's interested. Big Laws, he's interested. Jerry Pritchett, some real pro strongman guys are, actively interested in participating here. Because I've named this contest the world's strongest grip. And with a name like that, it's got to have the heavy hitters in the sport. That's my goal. I'm not messing around. I'm putting thousands of dollars of my own cash up for prizes. There's going to be the events is going to be Rolling Thunder, Axel Saxon, and a hold for time on the 2-inch Napalm Nightmare, similar to what we did last year at the LA Fit Expo with the Wrecking Ball hold. And for those first three events, Rolling Thunder, Axel, and Saxon, I'm going to be doing a record breakers. There's $1,000 in a bank. And if anybody breaks one of those records, they get $1,000. So let's say Carl breaks his Axel world record. He'll get $1,000. But let's say Sarah shows up and Sarah breaks the Rolling Thunder world record. Then that $1,000 is split between those two competitors. So it really behooves you to go all out on all of your events so you can hoard as much of that pool as you can. Another $1,000 I'm putting up of my own money is set aside just for the podiums. And then we have Iron Mind sponsoring, Nemesis Grips is sponsoring. There's still more sponsors that I'm working on acquiring, but I think that this is going to be one of the biggest cash prizes for a grip event of all time.
That's awesome.
And I would love anyone and anybody who can hear the sound of my voice to come out to compete and try your best. We've got a lot of like elite climbers coming up. I don't know if you saw that that one in Norway or Sweden rather that Gabby Dixon did. But Emil Abrahamsen, he won the lightweight class. He's interested in coming. I talked to Ben Galper, who's going to go talk to Magnus Mitbo, and he's interested. So this is going to be really high level, not just for the big boys, but up and down the weight classes. There's going to be high competitiveness. Like I don't even know if I want to compete because I don't want to embarrass myself. But I really think that no matter who you are or your level, you should come out, because if you want to rub shoulders and elbows and thumb pads with the best in grip, this will be the place to do it. Again, there's going to be 4 events: Rolling Thunder, Axel Saxon, and a hold for time. There's going to be a lot of other things going on at the LA Fit Expo that's worth checking out just for fun. So that's the big competition I got going on. Also, we have King Kong, of course. I'm running King Kong down here in San Diego in this very garage for whomever I can find to compete. I just moved here, so I got to build a little bit of a community. But also, William Reed and Steve Gaspar are going to be tag teaming, running the one up at the training hall.
Nice.
I might pop in for that. I might drive up for that as well. But so we have out on the West Coast 2 King Kong venues to go to. If anybody wants to come, please come out. I'll also be running the Gobbler's Grip Gauntlet again this year, and Napalm's Nightmare World Championships in December, as well as California Strongest Hands in December as well. So we got a really busy quarter coming up out here on the West Coast. So if anybody wants to come out to any of those contests, come out. But please, if you are, save your airfare for the LA Fit Expo. It's going to be the can't miss grip contest of the year.
Yeah, it's going to be big.
It sounds awesome.
Are you guys coming? I'll put you on the spot right now. You guys are coming, right?
Yeah, I should be able to put about 60 pounds on my axle by then.
Good. Yeah,
that feels doable.
There's going to be, I think the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to have 3 platforms that are all lifting at the same time. And then the main platform, the one right in the middle, everybody's on the same stage. They're just next to each other. So it's not going to be like the Arnold where the heavyweight men are lifting on the stage and then everybody else is like lifting in a closet room. Everybody's going to be treated equally. Everybody's paying the same amounts. They're all going to get the same experience. And so that middle platform is going to be nuts. It's going to be so hard to even do, because what I'm doing is like taking the world record and then subtracting 10%. And if you're not opening there, you got to find another platform to lift on. It's going to be the heavy hitter platform. So
like, be like a kid's table
with Rolling Thunder, it's going to open up at like maybe 95 kilos for the axle. We're going to be opening at 200 kilos for that main platform. It's hopefully we're gonna see some real fireworks and a lot of records broken. I'm really looking forward to the event.
Yeah, that sounds like a blast.
It sounds amazing, and I'm always excited to see prize money and sponsorship and the growth of that, because I mean that's what ultimately is going to make it worth it for a lot of people. Like, okay, well, if I go out there and I do well, it pays for itself. So, you know, it's worth the risk. So I appreciate that, and I'm excited about that, and I will try to make it happen. Absolutely.
And if anybody listening would like to sponsor the event, shoot me a DM on Instagram or email me at West Coast Armsports at gmail.com or find me on West Coast Armsports on Instagram, or Squeeze, Squess, SQUEZ, no E, _, big. Don't forget the @ sign.
Very nice.
So you can message me about that, or inquire about any of the contests that I'm running, or just say hi.
We have a ton of questions from the audience. I think this is the most engaged request we've had, to be quite honest with you.
That's worrying, to be honest with you.
No, but they're at, like, we actually had to cut them down. We had a lot, and then we had a few people that asked like several each, so we might just give you their names afterwards so you guys can have private conversations, because we can't get to them all tonight.
What, you got something to do?
Sleep.
I'm good.
But I'm going to start with Tammy McClure asks that, you know, she loves your energy. She loves the energy that you bring to competitions. She wants to know, have you been this way your whole life?
I've calmed down quite a bit. I would offer, so my brother doesn't speak much. I think I spoke for him our entire childhood. His 2 words I heard him say the most were "Shut up, Will." And then in middle school, I often heard, "Will, you play too much." So yeah, I think I've calmed down a bit. I'm, riddled with ADHDs and other things, so I still have spurts of really high energy. But I think overall, like, I've been able to settle down. Weeds helped a lot.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Can you say weed on YouTube?
Of course you can.
No, not in South Carolina. So I'll have to not air this here, but it's fine.
It's legal in New York. It's legal in California. We're fine. We're fine.
Doing better than everybody else.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Oh yeah.
No.
Steve Gaspar had a few questions as well.
Nerd.
Yeah, he's full of questions. But he said your dream grip team, 3 lightweight, 3 heavyweight, and 3 female.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna just lightweight. I think Ben, Steve, and William Reed. I can pull them all from my backyard. And then heavyweights: Alexi, Carl, and AJ Rakatari. I don't think you can get 6 better. And then for women, Helen
Mirren?
Nguyen,
Oh,
Yes. She's amazing.
and let's see. I think Jarvina, like when she's healthy. And then sticking West Coast. There was this one girl who came out to a contest very recently, one of my climbing ones, and she walked up and she hit just the craziest number on the freaking where it is. Where is it? Right here.
and she dropped her shoe.
Jupiter. She hit some almost 70 pounds on the Jupiter, which is crazy. It's an insane keep it. She's got these tiny little hands, and she just kicks the crap out of it. So she's only done one implement ever in her life, and it was that one. And world record right off the bat blew me away. It's enough. She's on the team. Michelle Park.
Perfect.
Nice.
Oh, wait, are we still doing that?
No. All right. What would Josh Villarreal? What song would be your theme music?
I don't know. Probably some audiobook.
Favorite audiobook?
Yes, Little Women. Be playing
no,
all the time.
I don't really infuse music into my workouts. Like, I don't really listen to music when I train. I don't know why that is. I think I have enough going on in my head. I don't know. Probably whatever the song on TikTok at any given time. Like right now, it's like there's that viral dance. It goes like. Bum, 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 bum,
I love that.
So whatever's stuck in my head at the moment, and right now it's that song. So that can be me. You know that? Have you seen that video?
I'm not on the TikTok.
I mean, it's made its way to Reels.
Has it? Okay, I'm usually a few months behind, I think.
We probably have different view pages.
Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't ring any bells.
I'll link it to you.
Oh, please,
this.
yeah. That's.
No, more importantly, I'll link it to Josh Villarreal.
Yes. Say this is the song, bud. Has he been? He hasn't been in any of your contests yet.
He
right?
has.
Oh, has he? Okay.
He just recently came down for my last contest. Was it Summer Jam Squeeze Fest? Yeah, he and the family came down for Summer Jam Squeeze Fest. Jacqueline and Hallie and Josh, and you know they're a great grip family. I love competing with them, and I believe they're doing. What's their next thing? Oh, they just did a cool deadlift charity event.
Yeah, I saw that. That looked.
What do you think about? There was an event where you strap into a Saxon bar. What do you think about that? That was kind of nutty.
Yeah, I was like, huh. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to make of that.
It's like, where do you get straps for a Saxon bar?
Yep, handmade. You had to make
I guess
your own
so.
prior to the contest. That was part of
But
that was the real test.
It wasn't a light pull. It was like
500 pounds.
Plus,
yeah.
500.
It was 500 pounds on there with a wagon. Like,
that's just a crazy apparatus. That's a unique lift.
It is.
I mean, at the Summer Jam Squeeze Fest, we did. Ode asked me to run this contest, and Ode originally wanted the contest to be the 2x5 Saxon both ways and the 3x4 Saxon both ways on wagon wheels.
Both ways, meaning like doing a 2x5 and a 5x2?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And I was like, oh, no. No. So we compromised and we did the 2x5, the 3x4, and then we put an axle on wagon wheels. So that was the contest that the Villarreals did. And then for the final event, we had a double Rolling Thunder hang for time.
Oh, that's yeah.
Which was a lot of fun.
Nice. That's cool. All right.
What's next? Fire away.
Yeah.
Or at will.
Fire at will.
Oh no, we're not doing those anymore. We're doing the
we're doing the audience
regular
questions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you guys run the show. You guys know more than this. More than me.
All right. I'll read one of Mark. What is his name is Mark _ Hills. So
It's Mark
Hills.
He wrote out underscore instead of anyway.
Mark _ Hills was taken, so he's Mark _
So he
Hills.
is Mark _ Hills. Yeah, I like it. One of his that I thought was interesting. He had a lot of good questions, but he said, "Your toughest competitor for you personally, who you feel that you're like neck and neck with."
So it's changed. When about my first year, after my first year in arm lifting, I was the number one 90 kilo lifter in the U.S. after my first year. This was back in 2019 when there was like me and a couple other guys. So I was like super amped on being the number one ranked, dude in the 90 kilo class for all of arm lifting USA with my like 70 kilo Rolling Thunder and my 130 kilo axle. Thought I was winning the game. And then I go to my very first, big contest, which is the LA Fit Expo. And this tall, freaking Nordic-looking Viking dude comes out of nowhere. And I was like, he's skinny. He can't even do nothing. And it was Travis Wynand, and he destroyed me on every single event. And he was like, oh, yeah, I just heard about this and wanted to try it out. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. It turns out he's got like this great ninja warrior background, and he's got like these alien hands that just come out to here.
Yeah.
And he works hard. He really puts in the work. So, over the last few years, he's been kind of beating me consistently. Every single time I'm taking second to him in my own competitions.
How tall is he?
He's tall. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to
6'4",
steal any
6'5"
inches from him, but at least I'd say 6'4" to 6'6".
Yeah. He's a tall 90 for sure.
Yeah, and his poles are very long poles too. You're right there, Haley.
Looks
No.
But so like I beat Travis my very first time at the West Coast Grip Sport National Championship because he zeroed an event, I believe. And that's the only time I can beat Travis, if he has just a really off event. But as of late, there's a little guy that's just nipping at my ass that I'm just struggling to keep ahead of, and that's Steve Gaspar. And he's like 50 pounds lighter than me and has no business being this strong. His vertical bar is insane. His pinch grip is great.
He did what, 102 or something? Or 107? Yeah. Something crazy.
Something stupid.
Yeah. I saw
and his
that.
key pinch is really good too. Like he's an all-around good grip athlete, and if he can figure out how to deadlift, I'm in trouble. That's
Well, if he figures out how to deadlift and gains 40 pounds,
he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to.
He's just going to hop up into the 90s?
Like, I mean, he doesn't even need to. He can beat me at 70. Oh, he's that strong.
I have to look at it very granularly in terms of like who's in my weight class, because if I look anywhere else, it's going to be real depressing. So
yeah, I need to compare myself to the people that I see at competitions.
Yeah.
I can't just always have, Zach Mullins in the back of my head, trying to compare myself to him. And he is a grip nemesis for me. And not in life, just in grip. Like, he's someone that is always sort of like a bar that I want to beat, because like my very first Arnold's, he beat me. I went and invited as a 90 kilo. He was qualified and invited as a 90 kilo. So I was going in thinking, oh, it's going to be us 1, 2, and then whoever else shows up. Cause this was like, at the time I number 1 ranked, right? But then I believe that Eric Hussein and Andy Munsey were qualified and invited at 100 kilos, and they dropped down to 90 and just kicked me off the podium.
Yeah.
And if I look back, I've looked back, and I'm pretty sure this is correct, that Eric and Andy took 1 and 2 in the 90 kilogram class. They would have taken 1 and 2 in the 100 kilogram class, and they would have taken 1 and 2 in the 110 kilogram class. Yeah. So getting kicked out off the podium to 4th was sort of like a sour experience, and I resent everyone involved.
Obviously, as you should. Yeah. Going to hold on to that deep down.
No, they're all 3 of those guys are great, and I've competed with them, and they're a joy to compete with. And I really love everything that Eric is doing for the sport. I think he's like, a foundational piece of grip, agnostically, and he's also an individual who's trying to build a bridge between the 2 sports. So I have nothing but admiration and respect for Eric, his skill, his strength, and his contributions to the sport.
Yeah.
On a more serious note.
Absolutely agree there.
And Eric, if you want to bump me up 1 in the rankings, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah. Who's looking at the 90s anyway,
No, the 90s are stupid.
I know. They are now. I know. I saw that.
I looked at the overall. So in the Super Series, I got barely 6th, right? Just under 5th. If I was put my numbers in the 100 kilo class, I'm just 8th.
The numbers.
I'm not shooting down too much. I could get real fat and keep my position.
I had the same thought. I looked in there and I was like, all right, I was like 15th overall or whatever in the hundreds, because I missed weight in the first series, and I was like, okay, I was 15th here. If I was in the 90s, I would have been like 14th. Or something. Like, it would have only been slightly better. And I was looking at the numbers at the top of that, and I was like, I'm not even close to anywhere like that. Yeah. So it's and same. I mean, the 90s and the 100s were very similar in terms.
It's. I think the more that this sport grows, the deeper the weight classes rosters are going to get, and the tougher it's going to be. Not only are the people who are doing it getting better, but under any rock you pull, you could find a little grip monster waiting to be discovered. Yeah, like Ben Galper. Ben Galper is a great example. He didn't know that grip was a sport. I saw that he was doing like 2-finger pull-ups with like 150 kgs attached to his waist, and I messaged him. I was like, "Hey, you're a freak. You should try this." And then, like, within a few months, he had, a dozen world records, and it's you never know who's gifted for this.
Yeah,
like hand anatomy, I think, is very understudied in the grip world, and I wish that maybe we had someone could, if one of you wants to volunteer to go to like biomechanical engineering school or something, to study
Well,
like
Haley's part of the
what
way there.
makes a hand like good at grip. Like, like I look at my hand and I see that this goes here and this goes here, and then I got this webbing here and it goes, so like every hand is different. There's folks like, put your hands up. Let's let the audience see everybody else's hand differences. See, you had come out at a right angle with your thumb, and then you almost come up like a really sharp, acute angle, Haley, whereas I have like this J cup, and that's just thumb. That's just like the angle of the thumbs, not to mention, how deep your webbing is, or how long your fingers are, or, like the split between your fingers, or I don't know. I'm no palm reader, but there's got to be something. Like some people are palm readers, and they might be viewing. You see how there's 2 lines here? 1, 2. Everybody has those 2 lines, and I think like one's the love line, one's the heart line, or something like that. Lifeline.
Yeah.
On this hand, I've only got 1, so I'm either heartless or I'm dead. Right?
Yeah. What you got going on there?
Duchess.
Yeah.
Your dominant hand, mostly. We pinch by pinch. Isaac, he has a good one. There are far too many Wills in grip sport. You have the power to rename Will Reed and Will Thompson. What are their new names?
Wow.
Well, I've already renamed the first one, and I either call him William or Mr. Reed. I think Mr. Reed is good because, like,
Yeah.
You ever play Hitman, the video game Hitman?
No.
Don't you? You're not allowed to be in the. You can't cross the garage. Thank you. Stay in here. He reminds me of like a hitman. You put him in a suit and he's a little bald head and very stern.
Jason Statham. Yeah.
And he can kill you with no problem. Like one time I asked her, I was like, William Reed, how much would it take to kill me? Like you killing me?
Love that.
Yikes.
So yeah, Mr. Reed. It's very
he's also on my zombie team now.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And then Will Thompson.
That's me.
I just
by the way.
won't use your name. How about that?
Okay. Hey, you.
It works for most people I meet. I have a hard time with names.
Oh yeah.
But I haven't used. I think I used your name once in this whole podcast, and it was uncomfortable for me.
It gets that way.
I tend to not acknowledge other people that use my name. But
what year were you born?
89.
Okay. What month?
January.
What day?
No kidding.
Yeah.
Get out.
Get out of here.
Well, the 21st. I'm
nailed it.
Aquarius cusp.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm the third. So
You're the third?
Yeah. So
you're older than me. So
I am. So
claiming name precedence.
I'm gonna have to. I think. Actually, no. I wasn't Will until high school. So I'll let you.
See, I was Willie until like middle school. It was actually 5th grade. I had a teacher who went through roll, and it was the first day of 5th grade. And I going to school, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not going to be Willie anymore. I'm going into middle school. I want to be a grown boy, and I want to be called Will. So, but I have a habit, introducing myself as Willie. So it was a little tough. It was a transition. She was calling roll, and she said, William Giuliani. And then I was like, Willie Woo! Because I said the wrong name, and then I immediately tried to correct myself, but then thought, oh, it's too late. And then she's like, Willie Woo, is it? So I was Willie Woo for that teacher for the rest of the year, which
That's
was
really
great
funny.
for my social standing. So I can be the Willie Woo.
That's funny.
If that's required by the group community. No, I won't. I won't be that man.
It's very funny.
Don't anybody call me Willie Woo.
We'll put it in big letters. Actually, I'm going to edit that out, and you're going to say, it's just going to say, call me Willie Woo. And
the name of the episode, Willie Woo.
Yeah, Willie Woo.
Willie Woo!
It's great.
Thank you for that question, Isaac. And
Yes.
congratulations on your under 200 all thumbs world record you had
Yes.
earlier this week.
Also impressive. There's a lot going on down in Australia, it seems like.
That was, I think he actually went up to Sweden for that, or Finland.
Yeah. He was in
recall,
Finland.
He was standing in front of the arm lifting do something banner, Finland grip sport do something banner.
Mm-hmm.
So Arto was out there. I think Harry also got the overall world record on that implement by like a ridiculous 14 kilograms.
Yeah.
Like, who sets a 14 kilogram plus world record on anything?
Harry.
Like, it's not like it's a untouched implement. Like, we've got some pretty strong folks tugging on that thing. Let's see. Yeah, right under Mason Dingy, 68 kilograms. Harry, 83 kilograms. What? Come on now.
It's crushing. He won the 110s of the 100. What did he won the Super Series in whatever class he was in?
Harry?
Yeah.
Harry? Yeah, he won. Well, I think 110. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Like, we have a ton, so let's keep moving. We have
about,
some anonymous questions that might be a little spicy. So okay.
Let's do it.
All right. Why are you trying to steal people away from Arm Lifting USA?
Well, I think if you look at the facts, and the facts are that I am running Arm Lifting USA contests, you'll find that
You're not.
assertion incorrect. However, if you do believe that I am stealing lifters from Arm Lifting USA, you should ask yourself, why is that possible? What am I doing that's making them want to come to me? It could just be my contests are a lot of fun.
Is this maybe what you actually did in reality when you went back in time and messed with somebody and you just keep going back in time and you're like, hey, Arm Lifting USA, it's not a thing in the future. You should do this instead.
Yeah.
'Cause this will stick around.
No,
That's how you're messing with
I want to be clear that I am not rooting for the downfall of any organization, whether it be Grip Sport or Arm Lifting USA or anything. I want all aspects of grip and grip competition to grow and be successful, and I'm just doing my part.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job. And if people like the product that I'm putting out better than another product, good.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I mean, that's how the sport will grow. People can learn from you. You're running and hosting 17 in a 3-year period. That's pretty insane. Like, where I live, my gym would host 2 a year, and that's it. And it was like, okay, I either try the Super Series or that's it for me. So like, I had no exposure to it. So I think it's amazing. And if I had something once every few months, like just like to grow and to try new implements and to continually get better, I think it's a great thing. We appreciate what you do. We just get these questions, so we just wanted to ask. So
Oh, yeah, I mean, honestly, like I genuinely think it's just about frequency and reliability. Like, I know that Arm Lifting USA does the Arnold, they do the Olympia, and they do the Super Series. 4 contests isn't enough for everybody.
yeah.
And not everybody can make it to those travel contests. So if you don't have the funds or the resources to go to the Arnold or the Olympia, you're just kind of like, either you find a Super Series or you're out of luck, or you mix something up. So that's what I do. I'm like, hey, Gobbler Grip Gauntlet. Hey, California Strongest Hands. Hey, Summer Jam Squeeze Fest. What? Just make up a silly name, throw a few implements at it, and boom, you got yourself a contest that people want to go to.
Yeah.
So it's just make a contest. If you're somewhere listening to this and you're like, man, I wish there was a contest near me, or I wish there were more contests near me. You're the solution to your own problem. If you want to run a contest, reach out to me. I'll walk you through everything you need to do to run one. It's fun. It's simple. It's rewarding. It doesn't have to be expensive. And if you're smart about it, I'm not. If you're smart about it, you can make some money. I mean, look at Ricardo. He's taken all of our money and traveling to Hawaii and Texas and all these different states, doing these clinics on our dollar. Good for him. You know, he's trying to spread the gospel, but he's also getting a lot of vacations. So, like, if you're a wise business promoter, you can make some good money in grip. I do it purely just for the fun of the sport.
Yeah.
I'm in this podcast for the money, but yeah,
It hasn't paid off yet.
It's gonna. I can feel it anytime.
It's gonna hit. We have another fun one from Mark Hills. I have to ask it. F, marry, kill, Carl, Alexi, Ode.
I've seen some of the girls that Ode's been with, and I'm impressed. So he must be packing. I'm picking Ode to marry, I guess. I think it would be really difficult to do, but since currently he's not in the country right now, I'll kill Alexi. And also, I don't think he's going to understand me saying this, so I don't think
You think you're good?
Chance
He's not one that's really been
fallout.
active on the fan page. So,
and then it's a weird mental picture, but I guess I fuck Carl. I don't know that you'd notice.
Oh my god.
yikes! That's funny.
Oh, that's the best.
That is
Thanks
All
for
right.
that question, Mark. I really wanted to picture all of those scenarios.
And now you got to, and you never have to do it again. We had a couple from nuestro amigo Pancho in Chile. He said, "Would you travel to Chile for a competition?"
I would. Like I said, I'm willing to travel for competitions. I've traveled to Canada. I've traveled to Orlando. I've traveled to Ohio. I bought plane tickets and hotel fare and everything for that Immortals contest in Sweden. I was gonna go. I was gonna compete. I bulked up to 110 kilos for that because that's what the lightweight weight class was, 242.
Wow.
I hired a powerlifting coach to get me as literally strong as possible and paid him several $1,000s over 4 months. And I got incredibly strong. I was ready to go. But I was so worn out by the end of all that training that when I was sitting down and planning my trip logistically in my head, just days out, I had realized that I was going to have to fly to Sweden, which is not a short flight, and then the very next morning start lifting, and then the next day lift again, and then fly out that night. So it was like logistically a stupid plan.
Yeah.
I would have been like asleep the entire time. I think if I had, arrived there a day or two in advance, got myself time to acclimatize and, recover from the travel and the time zone and yada, yada, yada. I could have survived that, but I didn't go because I felt like it was just going to be an impossible and unenjoyable time just because of the way that I scheduled it. However, Chile is only a few hours difference. Are they? Well,
Yeah, they're the same time as us. So
isn't South America like actually down here? Like here's
South America,
right?
yeah.
They're
So
actually
like
not directly below. They're like,
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
they line up right under like East Coast time zone. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like 4 hours for you.
Poncho, put together a cool contest with a lot of cool lifters, and I might pop down there for it.
There you go. It'd be good. He wanted to know, yeah, he wanted to know what your best gripper close is. Yeah, I know how you feel. He wants to know your best gripper close, and if you ever would want to try to cert on the number.
I can reliably close a 2 cold. Just I can walk up to a 2 and close it both hands every time. I can't come close to a 2.5. Like, it's not something I'm willing to train for either, because training grippers is just so painful for me. It's like not a soreness, like not like muscle pain. Like, I don't know. There's just something mechanically that happens in my hand when you're closing this tight and then releasing. It's just like an impact. I don't know how to explain it. I don't like training grippers. I trained grippers for the Arnold, and I got good enough where I can get like 15. I think I have my best is like 18 seconds on the 3 with the silver bullet. So, like, in a competition with people my size, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do pretty good. I'll win locally, but internationally, like all you East Coast folks and your Midwest folks and your grippers, I don't know what you're doing out there, but I'm not a gripper fan. I have all of Ode gave me his competition grippers. The full set from Iron Mind, and I went and got them rated.
Nice.
Because I was really looking forward to having official scores in there, and I used those grippers at Nationals when I ran that event down in San Diego, and then when they did North Americans, Eric and Jed announced that going forward there was going to be only one set of true grippers for Grip Sport International. And I was like, well, fuck my grippers then.
Yeah.
Like, these are real, they're official, they're rated.
They're rated,
like,
yeah.
So I guess if I wanted to run a competition with grippers, I'd have to reach out to them and get them mailed out to me, and then run the contest and mail them back. And I think it's cool. I think it's a cool idea that everybody's doing their grippers on the same gripper. But personally, I think as long as the gripper that you're doing is rated, it should count.
Yeah.
But seeing as like I don't have technically official grippers anymore, I don't see myself running grippers in a contest anytime soon, unless there's popular demand for it. And I'm known to give the people what they want.
Nice.
So to answer the question, 2 for closing, and then 3 for about 17 seconds on the silver bullet.
Good enough.
Okay.
Incidentally, that was one of the first grip videos like I ever watched was Jed Johnson and Lucas Freeman teaching Jujimufu how to set a gripper all those years ago.
Yeah.
Back when they still had Tom in those videos.
Yeah. I watched that, like when I was first getting into like grippers and stuff. And then now I go back and I watch it. I'm like, oh, I know those people now.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. At the time,
I still use the same setting and closing technique that they showed in that video. So maybe it worked. Maybe I need to find a new technique because I'm not getting any better. But I'm not training.
Carl's got a really good one. That one, that's what I used was Carl's, and I can close my 136 pretty easily.
Yeah, you got some crazy gripper strength.
Yeah, that's the only thing I got going for me.
And I think again, I think it's another hand anatomy thing with the grippers is like, it's nice to have that shelf right here.
Yeah.
Like I don't, you've got a pretty serious like pad here and I don't know, because you're supposed to set it back, but not too far back, like bring the thumb forward.
Yeah.
But I find when I'm setting it that the back arm can kind of swing back a little bit. What are we making fun of me?
Just notice all of us kind of. I don't know what to do with my hands right now. Put them by your side, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, when I try and set it, it sort of the backhand kind of swings back, and it makes that last bit harder to close.
Yeah. It's fun.
But yeah, I mean, I've shared this opinion before. I am a competition lift grip guy. I'm not a featster. I've got a couple blobs. Don't like them.
But you got them.
I'm on Team Haley. Fuck the blobs, right? Blobs. Everybody that does it is bad.
Verbatim,
that's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. This is what lost me all my friends.
I mean, I think everybody has their opinion. I think that there's room for feats and things like that in grip, even though feats are feet and hand is grip. Sorry.
No, that was good. I liked it. Yeah.
But like I personally would rather be better at competition lifts than feats because I show up to competitions and I want to do my best there and not at home by myself picking up a sawed off dumbbell. Woo!
Oh man. Well, I'm certainly glad to hear that because I said one thing and it was like the most offensive thing I possibly could have said. And all I said was that like, we've seen it. I didn't say it wasn't impressive.
Yeah.
I didn't say that it wasn't crazy hard. I didn't say that, I didn't say any of that. And everybody wanted to put words in my mouth and come after me. And I really don't get it. I mean, I think no one has listened to a podcast before. No one's even heard an opinion before. Everyone wanted to come for me about one thing I said and missed everything else respectful that I included in that conversation.
Right.
So,
No, let's clear the air here. I think that feats are stupid. No, I think that and a waste of time. No, I think that the reason I'm not a featist is simply because I can't, and I'm jealous.
Fair.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I'll grab a blob real quick with two hands because one's not.
It's not going to happen. Yeah. Just here.
So
I'm leaving the grunt in.
This is a half 80, right? And not even a hard blob. Everyone I know can pick this up. But if I put my hand where I need to, I don't have any fingers, and I don't have enough fingers to pick the damn thing up. I just have such a high webbing on my hand. Again, hand anatomy, and my thumb is placed so high that I really can't get any purchase on the side of the blob that I need to actually lift the damn thing.
Have you considered just sawing it in half?
Yeah,
It's already been chopped. It's already been chopped once.
Blobs.
Yeah.
One's sawed in half blob.
Yeah.
And then so I mean I think feats are really cool. Do I want to lift an inch? Yeah. Do I want to clean an inch? Yeah. Do I want to be able to leverage tilt a freaking sledgehammer, behind the back with the quarter on it that weighs 16 pounds? Yeah, I want to do all these things, but I can't, so I'm a hater.
Carl recently did something that I found to be truly disrespectful.
Oh, the axle, the one-handed axle lever?
Yep. The one-handed axle lever with was 115 pounds or something. Were they 45-pound plates on there?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, this is... I'm just gonna go ahead and
an absolute unit.
Fold it up,
He is just a freak in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Quay asked, who would you say is the funniest gripster?
Me?
That's fine.
Fair answer.
That's fair.
No, we're a serious bunch.
Yeah.
You actually get points deducted off your total score if you crack a smile during one of the competitions.
Well, no one should be smiling during a competition
No,
anyway.
yeah, either
It's-
yelling or crying. That's
Yep.
the only two acceptable emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
Another.
Yeah, go for it.
Pull.
No. Okay. Why are you so handsome, and how are you so strong?
Oh yeah. I remember this question. I wrote this question in.
Why
man,
so
I think
handsome? Why is his
I
house
think
so
it's
strong?
back to something in the water, and then not knowing how to communicate haircuts. I think both those. We can circle back
Yeah.
to both of those. No, I'm a ugly weakness.
Yeah, that was a good one. Again, Mark asked a lot of questions, but you mentioned it a little bit, and maybe this is something different. But you mentioned you bulked up to 242 and stuff, and now you're down at 190. But he asked, what are your biggest takeaways from your dramatic weight gains and cuts? Like, have you done more manipulation than that, or like, do you frequently go up and down, or like, what's like?
No, so I stayed 90 kilos. Well, no, I've kind of floated around. I've competed at 80 and I've competed at 110. I started my grip journey as like a 176-pound kid. I actually wasn't an athlete of any sort prior to grip. Grip, you could say, is my first sport. I was in marching band in high school, and I remember I got into strongman first. So I was watching YouTubes, and they recommended to me the 1977 World's Strongest Man, the original, and I thought it was a hoot. And I remember watching it, when I was a kid, names like Sven Carlson and Yanni Virtanen and whatnot. So I was like, hey, let me give this a try, and it was great. And I went to the channel that had that video, and they had all 44 years of them. So I watched 44 hours of World's Strongest Man finals. And then after that, I Googled, strongman contest near me, in my hubris and audacity. And I saw that there was like a strongman gym like an hour away from where I was. And it was, the training hall. So I didn't know anything about it. I drove up there. I walked in and I was like, hey, and I looked to my left and I looked to my right, and there was Martins Lisas standing there, who had just won fourth at the most recent World's Strongest Man. And I was like, hey, saw you on TV. And he was like, hey, how's it going, man? Strongman stuff. And
Is he Fat Albert?
showed me how to press a log. And he was like, hey, there's a contest here in a couple of weeks. You should try it out. So I signed up for the lightweight novice class at Oudhaugen's 805 strongest, or one of his contests. And it was a pretty grip heavy event. There was Moss wrestling, grip, double overhand axle, grip, farmer's carries, grip, and then there was log overhead, and I think maybe one more. And I did really bad at the non-grippy events. But for my weight class, I won the double overhand axle. I got second in the Moss tournament, and I had no drops on the farmer's carry, which were body weight in each hand. And this is someone with zero weightlifting training at all, just kind of coming in off the street. And Ode told me, he's like, you're not a very good strongman. You've got a hell of a grip. And he was like, I got a contest tomorrow. You should come out. And I won my weight class at that contest, and it was 80 kilos. And I was like, okay, I want to start lifting weights. I'm going to start doing this grip thing. It seems really cool. Let me get a coach. I started working with Ricardo, and I bulked up to 90 for the foreseeable future. Then the pandemic happened, and I had surgery on my wrist. I had a big old what are those things called? A Bible cyst, Bible bump, the ganglion cyst on my wrist. And I had to get that taken out. And for months and months, I couldn't train, or I didn't want to. And then, so I dropped back down to 80 again. And then I competed, and I was worse than I was when I started. I couldn't even pick up like 90 kilos on the axle. So I was like, okay, I've got to turn it into gear. And I bulked back up to 90. And I was never like a lean 90 then. I was kind of like a soft, big belly 90. And then I stayed at that weight and competed at that weight for a couple of years, never really recomping or going up and down, just sort of naturally staying there. And then I did 100 kilos. I was 100 kilos for about a year and a half. And I did feel stronger. I got stronger, but I didn't like how I wasn't like competitive in my weight class, like international, like at King Kong, I would end up being like 23rd or something like that. I'm like, oh, that doesn't feel good. So I was thinking about cutting back down to 90, and then this Sweden contest happened. So I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna try and come in as big as I can and as strong as I can. And I ate and I ate and I trained and I trained and I ate and I trained and I ate. And I got really big really fast, and it was really unhealthy. Like I was strong as shit. But I couldn't go up a flight of stairs. Like it was really tough.
How tall are you?
6 foot.
Okay.
6 foot. And I had to buy a whole new wardrobe. None of my pants fit. Like I gained like 2 dress sizes. It was, and I was waking up unable to breathe, like, and I'm like, holy shit. And then so I decided I needed to cut. And I cut down to 100. And then I was like, hey, I think I did another international competition that I didn't place well in the 100 score. And I was like, I want to see where I'm at if I go back down to like a natural weight. Natural meaning like not force feeding, not like drugs or anything like that. So I went back to like my natural weight that I would feel comfortable at, and that's around 93 kilos. Like if I'm at 205, I feel athletic, I feel strong, I can jump, whatever. Like I can move my body.
Stairs are no problem.
Right. I could run up a flight of stairs. So yeah, I mean, the dramatic weight cuts and gains have been hard. But they've also sort of like unlocked other aspects of my lifting that I didn't have before. Like getting that big and then leaning out. I've maintained all of the strength I had when I was 242 pounds, and now I'm at 190 pounds. So like I pulled 160 on the axle PR at 242, which was out of nowhere. The previous time when I touched the axle at 100 kilos, I was stuck at 150, 150, 150, contest after contest after contest, maxing out 150, not even getting close to 155, couldn't break it off the ground. And then my first contest at 242 was Untamed Strength up in Sacramento at the beginning of this year. And I pulled a 160. I pulled a 150, and I was like, wow, that was easy. I went up and pulled 155. And wow, that was easy. And then I hit 160. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on here? And then I cut all of this weight. I cut 50 pounds in 5 months.
Jeez.
And still hitting 160 on an axle. So I would say, like, if you've been lean your whole life, your whole lifting career, it could be fun. Go up a couple of weight classes, get as strong as you possibly can, and then cut back down. The cutting was not difficult. I just cut my calories in half.
Yeah.
and it just sort of fell off. I got really angry for the first couple of days,
Yeah.
but after
Yeah.
that, my stomach sort of got used to what to expect in the reduced calories. Because I went and did a DEXA scan. My resting metabolic rate's like 1,800 or so, which is a little low. I thought I would be higher than
Yeah.
that. So I just stayed under that for 6 months and dropped all the weight. And then I've been working with Steve Gaspar, the nutritionist, to make these 90 kilo cuts. Because like I'm around 203, 205, 208, 212 sometimes. And then, when I need to do an Arm Lifting USA contest, I need to cut down to 90. And anytime I need to get under 200, it's a bit of a pain.
Well, it looks like you also got some help from ChatGPT the other day.
That's true.
Trying to fit all of your calories into some
Mountain
kind of
Mike's
pizza.
Pizza.
Mountain Mike's
Yeah.
Pizza. Yeah.
It's a West Coast. I don't know if they have it out where you guys are.
I've never seen it.
But they got this pizza, it's like the Everest pizza. It's basically just a supreme pizza. It's got all the vegetables and all the meats on it. I was thinking because I was either deciding if I was going to go buy a week's worth of groceries or a week's worth of pizza.
Yeah.
And ChatGPT said that groceries was a better idea
Well,
for my goals.
I don't know. ChatGPT's told me a lot of stuff that I don't agree with. So, do what's in your heart.
I asked ChatGPT today if Kamala Harris had any dogs, and they said that she did, and their names were Major and Commander. And I was like, those are Biden's dogs.
Yep.
Why'd you lie? And they was, I'm so sorry.
Oh, it appears I was mistaken.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And I was like, that cost me $10,000. What are you going to do about it? Sorry, as an AI language model, I cannot transfer cash.
Jake Fuller asks, when are you coming to lift giraffes and pet Saxon bars?
Lift giraffes?
Yes, and pet Saxon bars. That's exactly how it was written. I thought maybe it was an inside joke.
I don't know anything about giraffes or pet Saxon bars.
Okay, all right.
My Saxon bar is just an implement. I don't treat it like a pet.
Yeah.
Is there ever an instance where you would flip those and you would pet giraffes and lift Saxon bars?
That sounds more appropriate.
Yeah.
But how he worded
But
it is
he definitely
exactly how
worded
he said it.
Yeah.
Jake Fuller, I am sorry. I don't know what you mean by that. But if you send me a pair of those really cool deep dish plates, maybe it'll jog my memory.
Wait a moment.
Oh, do you have a pair?
Product placement. Fuller Barbell Company.
Yeah, Fuller Barbell Company, the official plate provider of West Coast Armsports, I hope. Beautiful. Look at that. I just want to put my fingers all over that thing.
I can't hear without my Britney Spears headphones. So
I said I want to put my fingers all over that thing.
Oh yeah, this one's clean. The other one has got all the chalk on it.
That's really nice.
But yeah, they are fantastic. And one of them
I
weighs
looked
44.95 pounds.
I really admire him for going through and doing all that work. I looked into making my own inch dumbbells. I borrowed Ode's and I took it to a foundry, and I got a couple of estimates. And I don't know how people are selling inch dumbbells for the price they're selling them at, because I was like, hey, let's say I went to the foundry. I was like, let's say I want to mass produce these. They're like, well, it's X amount for the mold and then X amount for each dumbbell after that. And, there's just the price of metal. And for me to manufacture, a series, each one would be upwards of $600, which is what people are selling them for. I don't know the business model of selling inch dumbbells, but if it's a charity, it's a charity, and we should buy more inches. But if they've got a secret way of making these on the cheap, let me know.
They are made of sand. All of them.
They're paper mache.
Yeah, papier mâché. Yep. That's it. All right. So you don't know anything about giraffes? All right. I didn't know if you guys. Yeah.
I mean,
Tell
I
us
know
all the
something
giraffe
about
facts you
they're
know.
tall.
Yeah.
They got spots.
Sure.
They got
When I
black
was-
tongues.
Do they? I knew that. Oh, I
yeah.
do know that. They got like little horns on their heads. I went to the Minot, North Dakota Zoo when I was stationed in the Air Force there, and I saw 2 giraffes doing it
That had to be exciting.
for the giraffes.
You didn't find that at all intriguing, or I mean,
I was
you
more
remembered
worried
it
about they were,
years
like,
later.
There was already a baby giraffe
Oh, you
that
didn't
was
want him
like
to see
standing under the mom while it was
Oh.
happening.
that. Yeah.
So I was
That's
a little
dangerous.
concerned about the trauma that giraffe might be experiencing.
Kids should
I'm
be at least
Right.
in another room or something. So
There was families there, and there was like, "Mommy, what are they doing?" And you know, I think someone played like music from their speakerphone. That
like,
was
let's get it on or something, like Marvin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that was exactly. The
That was
song.
me. I was there. I did that.
So that's what I have to say about giraffes, and that's it.
All right.
All right. So Jake, he won't be coming to the Columbia Zoo to lift giraffes with you.
All right. We have a few more. Do you want to ask any more, Will?
I was gonna ask another one of Josh's that he sent to us in a DM. It was for all 3 of us to think about an answer. He said, but he said, if you had to choose one grip implement to fight 500 little people, what would it be? And he said the pin and 20 kilos can be included as part of the weapon.
I don't think I would want a pin. I mean, I don't think I would want the weight. Do I have to take the weight?
Yeah, I don't know. It says can be included, so it's optional.
Okay. I'm gonna quickly assemble
Assemble
weapon.
your weapon.
I will assemble my weapon. Let me bring you to my workshop. Oh, don't mind
Oh,
these.
look at all those medals. Oh my
Don't
goodness.
mind those. Just ignore those. You don't want to get jealous or whatever.
I know where I stand.
But I think I'll start with the grab ball, just because it's got like this flange and.
You're gonna make a little mace out of it,
Then
huh?
I take these carabiners and sort of connect them to each other, like so.
Mm-hmm.
Into a chain?
It's hold the pin, put all that on there. Yeah.
And then I will attach. Where's my freaking loading pin? Gosh darn it.
Someone
there it
else
is.
already used it for their weapon.
Now I have a flail.
Yeah.
So there are little people around, I guess.
Slam off into the Toyota there.
So that's my
That's flawless execution.
grip little person weapon plan.
I was thinking the same setup, just with like a hilt or something. But definitely
You get a
using
little more
carabiners.
reach. You get a little more reach with the hilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other
But something
option is
whippy.
this.
I was exactly.
The other option is this one-off Jokabug tool, this
Oh my
tri
gosh.
ball, and I think that would just be embarrassing to get touched by.
That would be. I've got this. This might be the best. This is a concrete pinch block deal that Hunter Heath made and gave me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty hefty and really hard, and again could be attached to a loading pin here, and really do some damage with it.
Yeah, I think the multiple carabiners is
It's key.
it's
Yeah.
key.
Yeah.
It's key.
Key pinch. Key something there. Anyway. Very nice. So, all right. 500 little people. That's a lot.
That is quite a bit.
Like-
That's so specific too, Josh. Where is your head at? Like why? And why little
He's
people?
in Newfoundland.
Also, are they Like, are we saying little people as a replacement for like midget, or are we saying little people as in they're like tiny little people?
micronized humans.
Yeah,
Tiny.
because if they're really tiny little people, 500 of them, I'd probably just maybe roll a couple of blobs at them or something and just toss it in there. Like, I feel like that happened in like Gulliver's Travels or something.
Jason Busey asks waffles
Oh my
or
gosh.
pancakes. And that
So when I was in second grade, I had an invention idea called pot waffle, and it didn't include marijuana. This was a invention whereby you could enjoy. Duchess, stay inside. Whereby you could enjoy both the benefits of a waffle and a pancake. The way this would be done is you would pour the batter into like the waffle iron, which is at the bottom of a pot, right? So it
it's
would
flat on the top and then
flat on the top
Yeah.
and holes for the batter to sink into on the bottom. So it would have waffle on the bottom, and then the top would be smooth. Pot waffle. So it's best of both worlds. I don't know if it's possible because if you look at recipes, like pancakes and waffles don't have the same ingredients. Like
No.
one has more egg or more like oil or something than the other one.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is the key differentiator there smooth versus pitted?
I think it's got to be texture. It's got to be texture. I mean, I don't know. I feel like baking is a chemistry, so I failed chemistry, so I can't really speak on it.
I also did not do well in chemistry, but I feel confident I can answer it because as the most average white man that probably anyone has ever met, I have an inordinate amount of confidence that comes with that, and so I feel like
I adopted that as well with my more than average handsomeness and strength.
For sure, yeah. Well, you've earned it that way, yeah. I think that it has to do with the amount of oil that goes into one versus the other, and then how that cooks when you cook it, because waffles are crispier.
Yeah, do you find that if you used waffle batter to make a pancake, it would be a crispy pancake? Or
I think my kitchen would explode. I think the universe would know, and I'd be out of a kitchen. So,
well, I hope that doesn't answer your question, but I hope that answers your question.
you don't have a preference. You just want to pitch your to the Sharks hot waffle.
No, okay. So I actually just threw out my waffle iron while moving, not because I didn't use it enough, but because it was broken. But I made a thought to myself, like, going forward, do I need a new waffle iron, or will I be okay with just pancakes?
Mm-hmm.
And I think
the answer is you'll be okay with just pancakes.
I think I can be okay with
Decisions
just
were made.
Pancakes are fluffy and delicious.
Yeah.
I think they take blueberries better too than waffles. So I support that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your support.
You know, it's sometimes good to get verbal affirmation of things.
No, your support is really needed, especially in a time like this.
Yep. In this day and age, it's hard to come by.
These days, we need all the support we can get.
Yes. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like it's an advertisement.
In the pandemic, when every commercial started out with, like, these days, we need baba baba boo.
Yep.
During these uncertain times, it's really important that we band together. Make sure you get your vaccine. Pfizer. This episode is not brought to you by Pfizer.
More than ever before, it's super important that you buy Nutri-Grain bars.
I was going to go with the toilet paper ad, but yeah, Nutri-Grain works too.
Because Nutri-Grain is always there, even in uncertain times.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think I don't know. That's all I wrote down, I believe. If I'm missing any, it's because they were repeaters or the same people asked 7 questions, and we're only going to give them space for a few.
Okay.
Sam Horn.
Oh yeah.
I like this one. How many extra pounds does adding the rainbow Crocs add to your lift?
It's hard to quantify because I don't lift without them. I don't think I would. I went to a powerlifting meet, my first one this year, Bummies Beat Down in Long Beach, and I didn't hit any PRs because they wouldn't let you wear my Crocs. They're like, you need to wear real shoes, and I was like, okay. And they strangely had an opinion about what underwear I was wearing.
Was that USAPL?
I don't know what that means, but
it sounds like it was.
I wore like spandex athletic trunks or whatever, and they're like, no, you can't wear those. You have to wear like something else. And I was like, okay, like, is it just so much fabric? Like, yeah, you don't need that much fabric. I was like, okay. So I went and I bought a jock strap. And I was like, I haven't worn one of these since T-ball. And so I went to the equipment thing and I was like, okay, is this it? They're like, no. They're like, what do you want from me? They're like, you got tighty whities?
Just wear underwear. Yeah.
But
you don't want to get any. You don't want to get any extra spring in the bottom of that squat.
I guess that's
you better not have an advantage over anybody else.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah. I think they just wanted to check everybody's underwear.
Yeah, that's what it all comes down to. That's what you.
We don't have underwear rules in grip.
Not yet. I'm pushing for
it. But apparently there is genitalia rules in grip. I think Arm Lifting USA has like a trans lifter policy that if like you're trans or non-binary that you lift within like a trans or non-binary category, and you can't lift with the gender with which you identify. How do you guys feel about that?
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah, that is a spicy one. I mean, to me, I feel like it's unfair going one way and not as much. Like it could be an unfair advantage going if someone born a guy competes with women in some instances, just from a strength perspective. I think that's an advantage.
Why?
Because in general, I mean, I'm going to preface this and say I recognize there are women who are stronger than me in grip who weigh less than I do. But I think that in general, like in a general sense, men are stronger and have more strength than women do. Like,
okay, and you think
more weight.
The deciding factor on that is gender?
I'm no biologist, but I don't. What would you suggest it would be?
See, as a promoter, this is actually something that like it hasn't come up yet. But you know, as a Southern California liberal, I got to be cognizant of the possibility of it happening, and I haven't decided how I'm going to handle that if and when it does happen, because let's be frank, there's no right answer right now. No one knows what the right thing to do is.
Yeah.
And in an instant like that, I think you have to default to inclusion. I don't think you want to exclude anybody from anything. And I understand, you know, there's biological, genetic, or biological differences between the genders, but I don't know. It's not like we're a tested sport, right? So there are men who have unnatural advantages compared to other men in the sport, and women who have unnatural advantages compared to other women. So I don't know. Like I want to, obviously I want to create and maintain space for women to compete. And I wouldn't want them to feel like, a second-class citizen or have anything taken away from them. But at the same token, I don't want to further like push down or punch down on, trans people who are already going through enough and found a community and a hobby that they enjoy and love and are passionate about. And then me being the person to say, yeah, you got to go lift with other people like you, like, I think that if there is no right solution, that defaulting to inclusion and acceptance is probably the right way to go. And I think it's tough, and if it does happen, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably default to just including people as they are, because I think that's how people should be accepted, is as they are, and I don't know, probably let it fall as it may. Men, biological men who are transitioning, making an active transition to become a woman, are taking testosterone blockers and estrogen and everything. So their I guess biology is changing to be that not of man and more as of a woman. So I don't know. I think it's a really difficult question. But it's a really important question, and something that I think needs to be handled with care. And you got to speak to all the stakeholders, the people involved. You got to speak to the women. You got to speak to the men. You got to speak to the trans people, and in good faith,
Yeah.
and try and make what's best for everybody. So I don't know. Do you have an opinion on that, Haley? You haven't said anything.
No, I sports should be inclusive. And like you said, if somebody's already going through the brutal process that is transitioning, and to find something they love and not feeling like they're going to be excluded because, okay, I have always seen myself one way and I'm going to make the transition and this is my life now. And I still want to lift weights, but now I can't. Or now there's going to be an asterisk next to my name or my records or something like that. Like that's gotta feel like a gut punch. But
Like I
I
told you
can't.
in my past. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. It's just like I compete in Highland Games and strongman and grip, and I know that there are women that are on testosterone, that are on steroids, that have advantages, but like Michael Phelps had an extra, lung capacity and huge feet and a very tall body. So he had an advantage for swimming. And so, if we're going to look at an advantage physically, with lung capacity and just body size and is like flippers, you want to call them. And like Katie Ledecky, same thing. Like they are genetic mutations. Like, but she's still a female, he's still a male, so they compete where they are. So if somebody wants to transition and they still have, bone density of a man and they still carry, muscle density that they had when they were a man and now that they are a woman, it is an advantage. And you can't say that it's not. And it doesn't matter if you want to include people, it doesn't matter if you want a level playing field. It is an advantage, so there just needs to be, like you said, a bigger conversation had with all parties involved to come up with something that is universally fair. And until we can do that, that's
the thing, is like sports and athleticism and strength and all that. It's not universally fair. Like
no, you're right. That's what I mean.
Will and I can have the exact same training program, the exact same coach, eat the exact same food, step by step, and we're gonna end up with different results just because of how we're built, how we're born, how we can move our bodies. Like he was saying, that there's women that are stronger than him. Like there's and even amongst men, like we have a 66 kilo class in men, and then there's a 120 kilo class. I'm just wondering if gender is the line that we should be dividing by. Like maybe it's more factors should be considered, or a different factor altogether. Like maybe total weight in muscle that you have, or something like that. Or I don't know. I think it's an interesting topic, and I don't think anybody's talking about it in grip specifically right now because I don't think it's been an issue.
Yeah.
But it is something that I wanted to just bring to an audience and sort of get what people's feelings are about that, because like I said, there's no right answer right now. No one's figured that out, and I don't think we're going to be close to an answer anytime soon.
No, but like just erring on the side of inclusivity and not alienating people is important because I mean that's how you grow and that's the world we're in right now. So I think that's valid. It's just, you know, I've been on the other side of it where somebody's had advantages like that and it's been frustrating. Has it been like, oh, I don't want you here? No, not at all. It's just been like, ugh. And I can't compete with that. Like I can't compete with Sarah. Like we're just physically very different and like I don't have what she has and you know and it's you just got to compete against yourself and stay exactly.
Well, and to kind of step back even a little bit, you would think you would have some sort of testing policy in place before setting another policy that you haven't really run up against yet.
Like a
drug testing.
Like drug test. Yeah, I would love to. I'm
fully.
I'm eating Mountain Mike's pizza, y'all. That's what's powering me. Like I would love to see. If I could split this universe in two, have another timeline, and then this me hop on every fucking gear imaginable and steroids, testosterone replacement, everything, and just see how freakish I could become. But this line, this is a healthier, wiser choice for me and my lifestyle personally.
Right.
But I would love to see the difference in what like I could become, but I'm not willing to take the risk. I don't care about it that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll leave the part in where you ask for input from anthropologists on the other topic. We'll leave that in. And then, because you lumped biologists in there with that as well, so we'll make sure we leave that in so that they tune in with their ears, and then they can answer this question for us too and make the hard decisions for us.
Okay.
Right?
Perfect.
That works. Should I move my camera too?
Oh,
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Are you guys going to send me one of these little sausage banners?
We do have them. We sell those.
Are they for sale?
They are for sale.
Okay.
I was looking around your garage and I didn't see any sausage banner or any banners.
I don't have
a
sausage banner.
I didn't see any banners, and so I was like, I don't know if this guy's a banner guy or what.
My banner wall is currently like falling apart at the seams because duct tape doesn't do it like it used to anymore. I've got my West Coast Armsports banner. I've got the little Mark Felix thing, and then a poster of this giant forearm from Iron Mind, which doesn't quite look like anything appropriate from this angle.
Yeah,
you could use some more banners.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there's enough room for 5 or 6.
Oh yeah, yeah. We do sell those, and our goal is to get them in every gym in America.
Great.
So we've been dropping some off after hours, breaking and entering, and we are well on our way to getting most of North and South Carolina covered. And now, obviously, Haley, we didn't bring to her house.
Speaking of dropping into the gyms, now that I'm down here in San Diego, I got to start visiting climbing gyms in the area. Dutchie, get back in the garage. Those dogs don't want to talk to you. Come on.
They probably do.
No, she play too much.
Full circle. We lost Will.
I mean, we've been at it a while.
We have.
Should we?
We'll give it a second here to see if I imagine he accidentally hung up or something. Yours is saying it's not uploading.
Mine?
Yeah. Like it's at 0% uploaded for some reason. So I'm hoping that changes after we hang up.
Okay. I'm running out of battery, so that might be why.
That could be, yeah.
So I actually just got a warning that it's not going to. So
Okay. Hold on. Here's Will. 1 second. Let's put him up to the microphone here. Okay.
Hello?
Oh, all right. Can you hear?
My computer died.
mine's about to.
Yep. All right. It seems like everyone's gonna.
We can continue this way, I guess.
Well, Haley's is gonna die. So.
Yeah. So I just got a warning on mine
Are y'all
too.
speaking?
But
I can't hear you.
Oh, hold on. Oh, wait. Oh, there we
Right.
go. All right. Yeah. Haley's is about to die too. So, we probably should go ahead and let our listeners, if you're just tuning in, I'm sorry, but this is the end.
This is the end.
Wait, has this been
And
live the whole time?
thank you.
No.
Thank you for your
I like
questions.
to pretend it is, though.
He does this every time. Thank you for your questions. Is there anything else you wanted to add last?
I can't hear her.
Oh, yeah, he can't hear you. Haley said, "Thank you for all your questions, everyone." And Will, is there anything else that you would like to add or say to the people?
People, grippers, grip gang, grip folk, I love you very much. I'll always be here for you. And if you would like any information on running contests or would like to come out and be a part of a contest here on the West Coast, feel free to give me a DM. I'm really responsive to all things grip. And thank you for having me, Haley and Will. And that's all I got.
Thank you
It
for
was a
being
pleasure.
here and for agreeing to. It was. So we'll get this going and get it out to everybody, and we'll talk to you all the next time, Grabber Gang.
Okay,
Bye.
now that I've done this podcast, you'll let my family go, right?
That wasn't the deal.
Okay, you can keep them.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.